I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. And she couldn't do it. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat Hey, my name is Tristan and I'm in second grade, and I asked my teacher to show me an experiment where water curves. She couldn't do it because it doesn't curve. The water always finds its level.
What'd your teacher do?
She just didn't talk to me anymore. All she did was walk away. And I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. And she couldn't do it.
Rip this up for sound bites. This is awesome.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Anti-Religious Scripture Study with me, Karen B., and of course, just Jack Flat Earth.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Alrighty then, we are wrapping this up. We are coming close to the end of this Torah study. We are in the second to the last chapter. So the last chapter will be next week, last episode for this group. I don't know what we're going to call any future, if we do any future, but yeah, this is wrapping up very soon. And it's kind of surreal that we went through all of this because, it takes a long time just to sit and read through it, let alone like hitting it every chapter, and getting together and discussing it. And, I think it's something that's important that should be happening more often. There are some studies out there that do what's called Torah portions, where they're designated chunks of the Torah that was put together by religious men, and they just read through the chunk and then they give some overarching uh, commentary by the religious outlook on that subject rather than going through the words and what they mean and, the basics that people should have, the fundamentals, the foundations to understanding the scripture rather than just listening to, religious leaders. That's why I think it's very important for, people not to even necessarily just agree with or believe me as we go through this stuff. This is something that, I've given them the resources and the path to those free resources, mind you, to investigate this stuff for themselves. And I think it's valuable information so that you're not, I mean, even if you're not fully committed to living according to Torah, you can find out when people are trying to mislead you, using their own interpretations rather than what it says. Because a lot of times you hear in religious circles, well, even though it says dot, 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 what it really means is dot, dot, dot. And they'll reinterpret it or give you a different theological aspect to it, different doctrine about it, rather than just reading it for the plain text. And then you got people that have the multi levels of translation where they ignore the first level, which is the literal interpretation. So I'll go ahead and read my disclaimer. Just Jack's disclaimer to the religious. If you believe it's wrong to study the scripture outside of your religion or denomination, if you believe your religious leaders or church fathers are incapable of having inherited anti-scriptural traditions of men, if you've already made up your mind about scripture, including the scripture shouldn't be studied at all, then this stream is not for you. To others, if you are open-minded to others' opinions, if you haven't made up your mind about scripture, if you've been turned off to religion but believe there's truth in scripture that may have been changed or hidden by religion, if you live according to scripture and like to dig in and discover more, then the stream is for you. We are looking at scripture in the original language using concordances or dictionaries for words as well as context from a non-religious perspective. We will as well have life experience discussion. We are not here to argue with others about theology or doctrine by the traditions of men, including Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. We will be discussing the importance of origins and show how religions contradict the scriptures. By the way, just to let you know, because this show exists, I've gone into some chat rooms where they immediately blocked me because they don't like the way that I'm doing this.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And I don't understand why. I'm not trying to present anything like, you know, I mean, maybe because I'm offensive, because I'm saying religion is not the way you should do it. You should study it for yourself. Maybe that's offensive to people. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, that's how a lot of those religious channels operate. Like they want to create a big
Yeah.
congregation or a following. So,
This is the problem though. These are not religious channels. They're not even producing religious content.
oh, really?
And they still kick me out because I'm offensive.
Crazy.
So all right. Um so last week it was basically the song, I believe, right? If I can remember correctly. Yes. All right. So this is the song that Israel was to learn to remember the cause and effect relationship that they have with the creator. If you're with the creator, everything goes all hunky dory. Things go the way they're supposed to go. When you start mixing stuff in, you start losing the connection to the creator. So things get a lot harder. And then if you absolutely go the other path and worship something other than the creator, then stuff don't go so good. I mean, that's obviously the snippet version of it, the small version of it. But it's very poetic. And if you read in Hebrew, which I won't do because it would take a while for me to even get through it, but you can see there is the poetry in it. Like, you know, each couple of lines, it's like you'll have matching root words. And that's how they did poetry, where it's like the same root word, but a different meaning, based on the root word. So, in its context. All right. So this one is Moshe giving a blessing to the people because he was already told you're going to go up in the mountain and die. And there's some people who say that Deuteronomy 33 and 34 were not written by Moses because it is speaking about Moses in the third person, right? And that's, for me, that's fine. But some people don't like it because they think that it should have been put in the book of Joshua instead of Deuteronomy. Because Joshua takes over for Moses when he goes up the mountain to die. So, I think the narrative of Moshe and everything he did to its completion being recorded in the Torah, I think it's valid. It's an ending to, to the epic, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, so whenever you're ready, we're in chapter 33, Illuminati not confirmed.
All right. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's the strange weather change we're having that's doing this to us. So,
Oh my gosh. I feel like I should have a drink. And this is the blessing with which Moshe, the man of Elohim, blessed the children of Israel before his death.
okay, so again, this already looks like a third person representation, even though a majority of it is slightly in third person, talking about and Moshe did this and Moshe did that. But now it's like describing who Moshe is. All right, chapter or verse 2, sorry.
And he said, Yehovah came from Sinai and rose from Seir for them. He shone forth from Mount Paran and came with 10,000s of set apart ones at his right hand, a law of fire for them.
And this is, of course, when they came out of Egypt and they were all at the bottom of Sinai. All right.
Indeed, he loves the peoples. All his set apart ones are in your hand, and they sat down at your feet, receiving your words.
Okay, and this is actually a first event where this word loved is there in this context, where it's the word cherish as in what you hold onto, what you hug. So it's kind of a very intimate kind of a love. He cherishes the people, he holds the people, he hugs the people. All right. Moshe.
Moshe commanded us a Torah, an inheritance of the assembly of Yaakov.
Okay.
And he was sovereign in Yeshurun, and when the heads of the people were gathered, the tribes of Israel.
This term Yeshurun is right before they're about to cross over and he's doing his teaching of the song, and in that song they're called Yeshurun, meaning those who are doing righteousness, those who are on the straight path. So that's that reference. It's still speaking of Yisrael, only in a descriptive manner. All right, 16.
Let Reuven live and not die, and let his men be numbered. And this of Yehudah, and he said, Hear Yehovah the voice of Yehudah, and bring him to his people. His hands shall fight for him, and you be a help against his enemies.
Okay.
And of Levi he said, Your Tumim and your Urim belong to your lovingly committed one, whom you tried at Massah, and whom you contended at the waters of Meribah.
And again, these were the how can I explain it? These were the rocks that told them what to do. Right? And some people assume that there's a glowing to them, like they give off a light, like a yay or an a, or um, and Urim actually comes from light. So the lights, and this is of perfection, perfection and lights. All right, number 9.
Who said of his father and mother, I have not seen them, and he did not acknowledge his brothers, or know his own children, for they have guarded your word and watched over your covenant.
Okay.
They teach you your right rulings to Yaakov, and your Torah to Yisrael. They put incense before you, and a complete ascending offering on your slaughter place.
And of course, that just means altar, not necessarily slaughtering is happening because sometimes it's grain offerings. Anyway, the teach is just to, throw this out there. Teach actually comes from the root of archery or direction of how to throw straight, right? So it's it's direction on how to do the straight thing, just like, uh, the word Torah means to direct as well. So, all right.
They teach you your right rulings to Yaakov and your Torah to Yisrael. They put incense before you and a complete ascending offering on your slaughter place.
That's okay. We can read it again. That's fine.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't want to interrupt you. It sounded good.
Space
All right.
cadet. O Yehovah, bless his strength and accept the work of his hands. Smite the lions of those who rise against him and of those who hate him, that they rise no more.
And this, of course, there is no O. Oh, they just throw that in there. Oh, Jehovah. Okay.
Of Binyamin he said, let the beloved of Yehovah dwell in safety by him, shielding him all the day as he dwells between his shoulders.
Okay, 1 second here. Cling secure. Wait. Benjamin. Shielding. Okay, I don't have shielding here. That's why it's throwing me off here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, y'all. Dwell in safety, which is security. I don't know where they got the word shielding from actually, because the word shield does show up later on in this chapter, so I don't know why they use shielding here. Um, it's basically clinging, secure, which causes trust. Yeah, I don't know why they use shield. That's strange to me. Sorry, it jumped out at me like, wait, no, that's not shield. Where's shield? So yeah, okay, 13.
And of Yosef he said, blessed of Yehovah is his land, with the choicest from the heavens, with the dew and the deep lying beneath. With the
Okay.
choice of fruits of the sun, with the choice yield of the months. With the finest of ancient mountains, with the choicest of the everlasting hills.
I I don't know why they used ancient. The mountains from before or the East Mountains.
Mm.
I guess because it says from before, but from before like means in front of you. Like it can mean like it happened first, but I don't know why they chose ancient there. Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. But continue, 16, sorry.
With the choicest of the earth and all that fills it, and the good pleasure of him who dwelt in the bush, let it come on the head of Joseph and on the crown of the head of him who was separate from his brothers.
The crown is just the head. All right, 17.
His splendor is like a firstborn bull, and his horns are like the horns of the wild ox. With them he pushes the peoples to the ends of the earth, and they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh.
Okay, whenever they say 10,000s or 10,000 or million or anything else like that, I would encourage people to look up the word that it's coming from, the root, because it's literally just the abundance of increase. Um, that's not always the case. Sometimes they actually call out, hundreds of hundreds, like they describe it that way. But in this specific case, it's the abundant increase. It's the same root word as rabbi, which is my great one, which is like people think it means teacher. It doesn't. That they think that they're better than everybody else. That they want people to call them my great one. But it's of increase. So I don't know why they put tens of thousands. But they do that sometimes. I guess it makes it sit better with them. I don't know. Like this thousands is accurate because sometimes the ox head uh it depends on the context, of course. It can mean one or it can mean 1,000. In this case, obviously, it's not one. So, all right, 18.
And of Zebulun he said, Rejoice, O Zebulun, in your going out, and Yissachar in your tents.
I don't know why they can't just say the name without saying "oh." That irks me. It gives me the ick. Oh, all right, 19.
They call peoples to the mountain. There they slaughter slaughterings of righteousness, for they draw from the riches of the seas and treasures hidden in the sand.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. But again, I definitely do not appreciate the scriptures version using slaughter. It's just it does not fit because we're talking about. I mean, you can see here treasures hidden in the sand. Is
Mhm.
that slaughtering? That doesn't make any sense. All right, 20.
And of God he said, Blessed is he who enlarges God, and dwells as a lion, and shall tear off the arm, also the crown.
Yeah, people are going to be offended that you're reading that as God, but that's how it's literally pronounced. And it actually was given by his mother, who was not a worshiper of Jehovah, but she got in trouble for like sneaking her father's idols out to where her father-in-law was searching for him, and she's like, you can't check under these blankets that I'm laying on because I'm in the way of the woman. And yeah, she almost caused like complete chaos
Yeah.
because she was not a follower of Yah, and she named her son God because it's the prosperity deity.
And he chose the best for himself, for there the portion of the inscriber was hidden. And he came with the heads of the people, and righteousness of Jehovah he did, and his right rulings with Israel.
Okay.
And of Dawn he said, Dawn is a lion's club that leaps from Bashan.
She meant cub.
What did I say?
Club.
Oh, lion's club, lion's cub.
Yep.
And of Naphtali he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with pleasure and filled with the blessing of Jehovah, possess the west and the south.
Um, yeah, towards the sea and the south.
Mm,
Because it could just be, yeah, it could be interpreted a couple ways. Because if it's towards the sea, he could actually be in between the two seas. So, um, but a majority of the time they're speaking of the Great Sea, otherwise known as the Mediterranean, I think, as sea or west. All right.
And of Asher he said, Asher is most blessed of sons. Let him be accepted by his brothers and dip his foot in oil.
Okay.
Your sandals are iron and bronze, and your strength as your days.
So, if you want to go with what some people translate the garden incident, you could say your sandals are iron and serpent. I'm just saying. It's the same word. The Nachash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. 26.
O Yeshurun, there is no one like El, riding the heavens to help you, and on the clouds in his excellency.
Again, those who are doing righteousness. Yeshurun. Yeshurun. That's not easy for me to say. Anyway.
The Elohim of old is a refuge, and beneath are everlasting arms, and he drives out the enemy from before you, and says, Destroy.
Uh I Elohim of old. And then King James says the eternal. Um
Is it the same?
it's it,
Well, it's
it's actually
capitalized, so it should be
the
talking about.
this is the actual translation right here.
Mm-hmm.
The aboding from intently the location where you intently look. So like if you're at your home and you're watching over it, that's the location from which you intensely look.
Mm.
So that's your abode, right? That's where you dwell. I don't know why that got turned into eternal, or this one got turned into of old, and this one translates as your refuge. There's three different translations here, right? So
Mhm.
that tells you, and that's actually a good way of studying. If you are reading, like, let's say your favorite version is King James Version, okay, just for the sake of conversation. It is good to have like an NASB and a um I don't know, another version. Have three versions side by side. And then when you look at one word that's translated three different ways, maybe you should take a look at the root of the word, right? So this is the same root, ion, right? Which means eye, to intently look, right? Watch, eye, and then that's the one that gets translated into affliction, which it's only translated into affliction in the case where it's Yom HaKippurim and it says those who do not afflict themselves. When in actuality it's like to intently look at yourself, to inspect yourself. But furrow, like your eyes furrow, like when your eyebrows kind of go down when you're hard looking at stuff. And so this one is the one that we're looking at, the root. Watch abode. The home is a place closely watched, protection for the home by keeping a close eye on it, right? That's what I was explaining earlier. It has to do with where you keep your eye on, right? In this case, because the root has a mem, which means from, but of course their language is slightly backwards than us. Like sometimes it happens in Spanish when you translate it literally, it sounds backwards, right? But this is where you intently look from. So that would be your home. So anyway, sorry, I that's a yeah.
Okay.
Um Eternal, that which is from before. So okay, yeah. So again, ancient or eternal or old being east as well from before. So the abode from before. All right. 28.
Thus Israel dwells in safety, the fountain of Yaakov, alone in a land of grain and new wine. His heavens also drop down dew.
Okay.
Blessed are you, O Israel,
Oh, Yisrael.
who is like you, a people saved by Jehovah, the shield of your help, and he who is the sword of your excellency, and your enemies are subdued for you, and you tread down their high places.
Yeah, a couple verses back, he's calling them Yeshurun, and here he's calling them Yisrael, right? And then, yep, that's the last verse. Alrighty, jump over to chat. Shout out to Cammy Hazing 717, Bill Wheel, TCZ Man, Earth First, Space Later. Oh, it's jumping on me. I hate when it does that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta scroll back up. Joseph Osborne, Good Times for All, Zachary Zabala, Critical Inception from 50 feet away from me. Liz the Iron Maiden. What's up, Liz? She's our international audience.
Yes.
Jay, Orez. Oh my gosh, I can't read that. What is that? Orezo Evitagen. I'm sorry if I'm mistranslating that.
You could just say Orez.
Okay, Orez.
That's what I do.
NDV. Let's see. Rico, what's going on, Rico? All right, yeah, we got through it. Liz says subject. All right. In my I started typing before the show started, just to let y'all know, there most definitely is going to be a 13th month. Ergo, the day before April, the 31st of March, will make us we'll make it the new year, which will make us April Fools because we follow nature and not the Gregorian calendar. All right. Let's see if there's any questions or comments. Oh, Jana's in here? I see a shout out to Jana, but I don't see her.
You don't? Yeah,
No,
she was in chat.
I didn't see her. Sorry for not calling you out. Wait, is she just Jay?
Yeah, just Jay.
Oh, see, if I had known that, I would have called her out a long time ago. I see Jay in there often. I
Yeah,
didn't know that was her.
yeah, Jay is Jana.
Okay. What's up, Jana? All right, so just shout outs. Um, and welcome to Edwin Messenger. All right,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. Thanks everybody for being here for another episode of Anti-Religious Scriptures Study, the Torah edition. We've got one more chapter and one more episode left in the Torah edition of the
And
show.
I'm going to throw this out there. Feel free, because it's a short chapter, this last chapter. Feel free to bring Torah questions, specifically about Torah, next week. Bring it to the chat, have it ready. Please include address. That helps for me to address the question. And yeah, hopefully people will respond to that. You know, I like answering questions. That's my favorite part of this gig. So
Yeah.
please bring question next week to wrap up the Torah studies, and me and Karen will talk about how we're going to progress if we do. All right?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Have a restful
shout
day.
out to Sylvia. She just popped in.
Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. Hope you're doing well. All right, you guys. Yeah. Thanks for being here. We'll see you again next Saturday.
Shabbat Shalom, and the earth is still flat.
Shabbat Shalom. Earth is flat. Have a restful day. And all that good stuff.
Shalom.